The Hidden Swan. A werewolf romance story. Opening, hello my beautiful dreamers. This is Luna, and welcome back to Luna's Romance Audiobooks, where appearances deceive, auctions hide secrets, and ugly ducklings are sometimes swans in disguise. Tonight, I have a story that will surprise you at every turn. A tale of a woman who made herself invisible to survive. An alpha king who thought he was choosing charity over beauty, and the moment when everything he believed was shattered by the truth beneath the disguise. Imagine being so beautiful that your own family feared you, so lovely that hiding became your only option. Now imagine going to a mating auction, the last resort for unmated wolves, and deliberately making yourself ugly. Dirt, rags, hunched posture, everything to ensure no one would want you, because being unwanted was safer than being desired. And imagine the shock when the Alpha King, the most powerful, most eligible wolf in existence, chooses you anyway. Not for beauty, but for something he saw beneath the disguise. Something that made him decide this ugly duckling was worth more than all the beautiful she-wolves presenting themselves. So settle in close, my dreamers. This is a story about the masks we wear and the truths we hide, about seeing beyond appearance to essence, and about learning that real beauty can't be disguised, not from someone who knows how to look. This is The Hidden Swan. Prologue: The Beautiful Curse. My name is Seraphina, and beauty destroyed my life. Not metaphorically, not poetically, literally destroyed it. I'm 23 years old. I've been told I'm the most beautiful she-wolf born in 3 generations, that my face could launch wars, that my violet eyes and silver gold hair are gifts from the moon goddess herself, and every bit of that beauty has been a curse. Because when you're beautiful, people see you as property, as a prize to be won, as something to own, control, and display. They don't see you. They see your face, and they want it for themselves. My family tried to auction me off to the highest bidder when I was 18. My father, Beta Marcus of the Clearwater Pack, viewed me as his most valuable asset. "Your beauty will secure us a powerful alliance," he'd said, "and Alpha will pay anything for a mate like you." But I didn't want to be sold, didn't want to be someone's trophy, didn't want my entire worth reduced to my appearance. So I ran, and I've been hiding ever since. 5 years of disguising myself. 5 years of making myself plain, unremarkable, forgettable. 5 years of survival through invisibility, until circumstances forced me to the one place I'd sworn never to go. A mating auction, the very thing I'd been running from, the commodification of wolves I'd escaped, the place where desperate unmated she-wolves went to be chosen by males who could afford them. I was desperate, destitute, out of options. But I wasn't going to make it easy. If I had to go to auction, I'd go as the ugliest she-wolf there, because being unwanted was better than being wanted for the wrong reasons. At least, that's what I thought. Until the Alpha King chose me anyway. Chapter 1. The Beautiful Child, age 8 to 15. Age 8, the discovery. "She's going to be remarkable," the pack healer said, examining me with clinical assessment. "Look at those bone structure, those eyes. She'll be the most beautiful she-wolf this pack has ever produced." My mother beamed with pride. My father smiled with calculating satisfaction. I was 8. I didn't understand what beauty meant yet. Didn't understand how it would define my life. "We must protect her appearance," the healer continued. "No rough play, no outdoor activities that might scar her, no sun exposure to darken her skin. She must be preserved." Preserved, like an object, like something to be kept pristine for future display. "Can I still play with my friends?" I asked. "Only supervised play, indoors, nothing that might damage her." That was the first restriction. The first time beauty limited my life, it wouldn't be the last. Age 10. The cage. By 10, I was considered exceptionally beautiful. Other girls were jealous, boys stared, adults made comments. "What a lovely child. She'll break hearts someday. Her future mate will be very lucky." My parents encouraged it, fed it, used it. "Stand up straight, Seraphina. Display your best features. Smile for the alpha. Show him how pretty you are. Don't slouch. Beautiful girls don't slouch. I wasn't allowed to cut my hair, wasn't allowed to choose my own clothes, wasn't allowed to do anything that might diminish my appearance. Why can't I play outside with the others? I asked my mother. Because you might get dirty, or scratched, or tanned. You're too valuable to risk. I'm not valuable. I'm a person. You're both, and we need to preserve your value. Age 12. The suitors. At 12, males started paying attention. Not boys my age, grown males. Alphas, warriors, wolves old enough to be my father. She's still a child, my mother would say, though not with rejection, with promise. But in a few years, I want first consideration when she comes of age, one alpha said. I'll pay handsomely. We'll consider all serious offers, my father replied. They were negotiating my future, my body, my life, and I had no say. Father, I don't want to be auctioned. Quiet. You'll do what's best for the family, what's best for the pack. Your beauty is a gift. We're going to use it wisely. It's my face. It's the pack's asset, and you'll present it when you're told. Age 15. The first escape attempt. At 15, I tried to run away, made it to the border before pack guards caught me. The beta's daughter was trying to leave, they reported. My father's punishment was swift. Locked in my room for a month, guards posted at my door and window. You're being irrational, he said. We're trying to secure your future. Give you the best possible life. You're trying to sell me. We're trying to make an advantageous match. There's a difference. No, there isn't. You see me as property, as something to auction for your benefit. You're being dramatic. When you're older, you'll understand. We're protecting you, ensuring you mate well. This is for your own good. But it wasn't for my good. It was for theirs. For the alliances they could make. For the power they could gain. I was just the currency. Age 16. The presentation. At 16, I was formally presented to eligible alphas at a gathering. My mother dressed me in white silk, styled my hair in intricate braids, applied cosmetics that enhanced my already striking features. You look perfect, she said. Every alpha here will want you. I looked in the mirror and saw a stranger, a doll, a display piece. I don't want this. What you want is irrelevant. This is your duty, to family, to pack. Now smile and be charming. The gathering was awful. I was paraded around like livestock. Alphas examined me, discussed me, made offers. Beautiful bone structure. Excellent bloodlines. She'll produce strong heirs. Not once did anyone ask what I wanted, what I thought, who I was beyond my appearance. I was just a pretty face. That's all that mattered. Age 17, the plan. At 17, I started planning my escape properly. Saved every bit of money I could scrounge. Studied maps of pack territories. Identified places where I could hide, survive, disappear. You seem distracted, my mother observed. Your presentation is in 6 months. You need to focus. My presentation. The official auction where I'd be sold to the highest bidder. I'm focusing. Good. Your father has several promising offers already. An alpha from the northern territories, a wealthy beta from the east, even a visiting prince from across the border. I don't want any of them. You haven't even met them. I don't want to be auctioned. Can't you understand that? I understand you're being childish. This is how things are done, how they've always been done. Beautiful she-wolves mate advantageously. That's your destiny. That's your plan. Not my destiny. But she didn't listen. No one listened. So I stopped talking and started planning in silence. Age 18, the escape, 3 days before my presentation auction, I ran. I'd been planning for months, had money saved, a disguise prepared, routes mapped. I waited until everyone was asleep, climbed out my window using a rope I'd hidden, ran into the forest, and didn't look back. Behind me, I heard alarms, shouts, pack guards mobilizing. But I had a head start, and I was desperate. I made it to neutral territory before they caught my scent trail. From there, I went to a human city, somewhere wolves rarely ventured, somewhere I could disappear. And I transformed myself, cut my distinctive silver gold hair, dyed it brown, wore plain clothes, kept my head down, made myself forgettable. For 5 years I disappeared into anonymity, worked menial jobs, lived in cheap apartments, avoided other wolves entirely. For 5 years I was free, until the money ran out. Chapter 2, The Descent, age 18 to 23. Year 1, Freedom. The first year of freedom was glorious. I worked as a waitress in a human diner, made just enough to afford a tiny apartment, ate ramen and cheap pasta. Didn't care because I was free. No one knew I was beautiful. No one knew my real hair color. No one knew I was from a prestigious pack. I was just Sarah. Plain, unremarkable, forgettable Sarah. "You're a hard worker," my manager said. "Reliable. I like that. Thank you. Most young girls are flighty. You're dependable, mature." Because I'd been fighting for freedom, fighting for autonomy, fighting to be seen as more than a pretty face. I made friends, human friends who saw me for who I was, not what I looked like. "You're so down to earth," my friend Maya said. "Not vain at all." I try not to focus on appearance. That's refreshing. Most pretty girls are so aware of their looks. She didn't know, didn't realize beneath the disguise, I was what she'd consider pretty, that I was actively hiding it. "Appearance isn't everything," I said. "Exactly. You get it." Year 2, The Paranoia. By year 2, paranoia set in. Every time I saw a wolf, I wondered, were they looking for me? Had my family sent trackers? Was my freedom about to end? "Are you okay?" Maya asked, noticing me flinch when a male wolf entered the diner. "I'm fine, just tired." But I wasn't fine. I was constantly afraid, constantly looking over my shoulder, constantly waiting for discovery. I changed apartments, changed jobs, changed cities, always moving, always hiding. "You're like a ghost," my new roommate observed. "Here one day, gone the next. What are you running from?" "Nothing. I just like change." "No one likes moving this much. You're running. From what?" "From people who see me as property. From a life I didn't choose. From a destiny that terrifies me." She didn't understand. How could she? She wasn't a wolf. Didn't understand pack dynamics. Didn't understand how beauty could be a curse. Year 3, The Loneliness. By year 3, the loneliness was crushing. I couldn't date, couldn't form close relationships, couldn't risk anyone learning who I really was. "You're so isolated," Maya said before I left that city. "It's like you're afraid to let anyone close." I am afraid of being found, of being forced back. Back to what? To being something I'm not. Someone I don't want to be. I moved again. New city, new job, new disguise. This time I made myself even plainer. Wore baggy clothes, gained weight, let my hair remain unkempt. The prettier I'd been as a child, the uglier I made myself now. Because ugly was safe. Ugly was freedom. Ugly meant people saw past my face to who I actually was. Year 4, The Money Problems. By year 4, money was running out. I'd gone through my savings, my jobs paid minimum wage. I could barely afford rent and food. "You look terrible," my co-worker at the gas station said. "Are you eating?" "When I can afford to." "That's not healthy." "I'm managing." But I wasn't managing. I was drowning, and I had no way to make more money without exposing myself. If I went back to pack territories, someone might recognize me, might report me to my family, might end my freedom. But staying in human cities was expensive, and without pack support, without connections, I was struggling to survive. Year 5, The Breaking Point. Year 5 was when everything collapsed. Lost my job when the gas station closed. Couldn't find another. Burned through my last savings. Got evicted from my apartment. I was homeless, broke, desperate. You could go back to your pack, my former roommate suggested when I told her. They'd help you, wouldn't they? They'd auction me off. Sell me to the highest bidder. Use me for political gain. That can't be legal. It's pack law. Unmated she-wolves can be presented at auctions. It's considered an honor, a privilege. My voice was bitter. I'd rather starve. But I was starving. Literally. Eating from dumpsters. Sleeping in shelters. Degrading myself just to survive. There's a wolf auction next month. A she-wolf at the shelter mentioned. Mating auction for desperate females. They get food, shelter, security. Maybe you should go. I'd rather die. Dying is cold and slow. At least at auction, you'd have a roof and food. She was right. But going to auction meant giving up everything I'd fought for. Meant becoming the thing I'd been running from. Meant being chosen for breeding, for alliance, for all the reasons I'd escaped. But I had no other options. No money, no resources, no way forward. The shelter was kicking me out. They had maximum stay limits. 1 month, they said. Then you need to leave. 1 month. Then I was on the streets permanently, or at the auction. Chapter 3. The Decision. 3 weeks before the auction. Are you really considering it? Maya asked when I told her. The auction? I'm out of options. I've been living in a homeless shelter for 2 months. They're kicking me out. I have nowhere to go. You could come stay with me. You have a studio apartment and 2 roommates already. There's no space. Then let me loan you money. You're a student working part-time. You don't have money to loan. I can't take from you. I sighed. The auction is my only option. I go, get chosen, have security. It's practical. It's selling yourself. I know. But I don't have pride left. Just survival instinct. What if you get a terrible mate? Someone cruel? Then I'll deal with it. Like I've dealt with everything else. But the thought terrified me. Going to auction meant being vulnerable, exposed, chosen. Everything I'd been avoiding for 5 years. 2 weeks before. The registration. Registering for the auction was humiliating. Name? The clerk asked. Sarah. Full name? Just Sarah. I don't use my family name. She looked up, suspicious. Every wolf has a pack name. I'm Rogue, have been for 5 years. No pack affiliation. Rogues aren't usually allowed at reputable auctions. I'm unmated, desperate, and willing to go to the highest bidder. Isn't that what auctions want? She processed my paperwork with obvious distaste. The auction is in 2 weeks. You'll need to present yourself appropriately. Clean, groomed. Display your best features. I'll present myself honestly. Honestly won't get you chosen. Males want beauty, fertility, bloodlines. If you don't present well, you'll go unchosen. Then you're back to being homeless and desperate. I'll take that risk. 1 week before. The plan. I spent the week before the auction preparing, but not in the way the clerk suggested. Instead of making myself beautiful, I made myself invisible. I cut my hair shorter, dyed it a flat, mousy brown, wore clothes that hid my figure, practiced hunching to disguise my height. What are you doing? Maya asked, watching me deliberately sabotage my appearance. Ensuring I'm chosen for the right reasons. Or not chosen at all. You're making yourself ugly on purpose. I'm making myself honest. If someone chooses me looking like this, they're not choosing appearance. They're choosing something else. What if no one chooses you? Then I leave knowing I didn't compromise, that I didn't sell my face for security. You're insane. Probably. But I've been running from being seen as just a pretty face for 5 years. I'm not giving that up now, even for survival. The day before. The doubt. The night before the auction, I couldn't sleep. You don't have to do this, Maya said. There are other options, other ways. Like what? I've tried everything. I'm out of money, out of options, out of time. You could reveal who you really are. Go back to your pack. Face whatever consequences. They'd auction me immediately, to the highest bidder. At least this auction, I choose how I present. I control the narrative. By making yourself ugly? By making myself honest. By stripping away everything but who I am. If someone chooses that, chooses the real me beneath any appearance, then maybe it's worth it. And if no one does, then I'm no worse off than I am now. But that was a lie. I'd be worse off. Rejected at auction, marked as unwanted, undesirable. But at least I'd be rejected for truth instead of chosen for lies. Chapter 4. The Auction, the Preparation. The auction was held in a massive hall. Hundreds of wolves gathered, males looking for mates, females hoping to be chosen. Report to the preparation room, a coordinator instructed. You'll be cleaned, groomed, and presented appropriately. I followed other she-wolves to a large room filled with stylists, makeup artists, and clothing racks. Let's see what we're working with, a stylist said, approaching me. She took in my mousy hair, baggy clothes, hunched posture. Oh dear, you'll need extensive help. I'm fine as I am. You're not fine. You're presenting yourself at auction. You need to look your best. This is my best. This is who I am. This is... She stopped, noticing the determination in my eyes. You're deliberately making yourself unattractive. I'm deliberately being honest. That's suicide at a mating auction. Males want beauty. Then they won't want me. Problem solved. She stared, then laughed. You're either very brave or very stupid. I can't decide which. Can I be both? Apparently. She stepped back. Fine. Present yourself as you are. But don't blame me when you go unchosen. I watched other she-wolves being transformed. Hair styled, makeup applied, bodies displayed in flattering dresses. They looked beautiful, desirable, everything males supposedly wanted. And I looked like exactly what I was, a desperate rogue who'd given up on appearance entirely. The presentation. We were lined up by the coordinator, arranged from most to least attractive. I was dead last. You'll be presented in order, the coordinator explained. Males will bid. Highest bidder wins. Once chosen, you leave with your new mate immediately. What if no one bids? A she-wolf asked nervously. Then you're returned to wherever you came from. Unmarked, unchosen, still desperate. The auction began. One by one, she-wolves were presented, described by the auctioneer in terms that made them sound like livestock. Beautiful, fertile, strong bloodlines, excellent breeder. Graceful, obedient, perfect Luna material. Stunning, virgin, rare coloring. Males bid aggressively. Some she-wolves went for obscene amounts, others for modest sums, but all were chosen, until it was my turn. And finally, the auctioneer looked at his notes, frowned. Sarah, rogue, 23 years old, unmated, no pack affiliation. I walked onto the platform, hunched and plain, looking like I'd rather be anywhere else. The crowd went silent. Then someone laughed. That's it? That's the last one? Did they run out of attractive females? Why is she even here? The auctioneer looked uncomfortable. Gentlemen, all registered she-wolves must be presented. Do I hear an opening bid? Silence. Complete, humiliating silence. Any bid? Even a modest one? More silence. More laughter. This is embarrassing, someone muttered. Just send her back. 1 million. The voice cut through the mockery. Deep, commanding. Absolute. Everyone turned, stared. At the back of the room stood a male I hadn't noticed before. Tall, at least 6'7". Powerfully built. Dark hair. Silver eyes that seemed to see everything. He radiated power. Alpha power. But not just any alpha. That's the Alpha King, someone whispered. King Nikolai himself. The king. The most powerful wolf in the kingdom. The one who could have anyone. And he'd just bid 1 million for plain, hunched, mousy me. Did you say 1 million, Your Majesty? the auctioneer asked, clearly shocked. I did, and I'm claiming her now. No counterbids allowed. Your Majesty, with respect, there are more attractive females. I didn't bid on attractive. I bid on her. Final sale. Now. The auctioneer had no choice. Sold. To His Majesty King Nikolai. For 1,000,000. I stood frozen as the king approached the platform. He climbed the steps, moving with predatory grace. You're my mate now, he said, his silver eyes studying me intently. Come. Why? I whispered. Why did you choose me? Because everyone else chose appearance. I chose something else. He offered his hand. We'll discuss it later. For now, come with me. You're under my protection. I took his hand, confused and terrified, and let the Alpha King lead me away from the auction, from the crowd that had mocked me, from the life I'd been running from, into something completely unknown. Chapter 5. The Journey, the Limousine. The king's vehicle was more luxurious than anything I'd ever seen. Leather seats, tinted windows, space that felt excessive. Sit, he commanded. I sat, keeping my hunched posture, my eyes downcast. He sat across from me, studying me with those intense silver eyes. What's your real name? He asked. Sarah. Your full name, your pack name. I don't use it. I'm Rogue. You're not Rogue. You're hiding. There's a difference. He leaned forward. I can smell it on you. The disguise, the deliberate uglification, the desperation to not be seen. My blood ran cold. I don't know what you mean. Yes, you do. You walked into that auction looking like you'd been living rough for months. But your bone structure is too refined. Your hands too elegant. Your mannerisms too educated. You're not what you're pretending to be. Then why did you choose me? Because I'm curious. Because pretending to be ugly takes more effort than pretending to be beautiful. Because someone that desperate to hide is usually hiding something interesting. His smile was sharp. So, what are you hiding, Sarah? Nothing. I'm exactly what you see. No, you're not. But I'm patient. I can wait for the truth. He pulled out his phone. In the meantime, we're going to the royal estate. You'll have quarters, food, security. Everything you need. Why? Why bid 1,000,000 for someone like me? Because I'm the Alpha King. I do as I please, and I pleased to choose you. That's not an answer. It's the only one you're getting right now. He made a call. Catherine, prepare the guest quarters. My new mate is unconventional. She'll need space and privacy while she adjusts. His mate. I was supposedly his mate now. Bought at auction for an absurd amount. But he hadn't touched me. Hadn't demanded anything. Just offered space and privacy. I'm not who you think I am, I said quietly. I think you're someone running from something. Someone who'd rather be seen as ugly than beautiful. Someone who's been hurt badly enough to hide for years. His eyes held mine. Am I wrong? No, you're not wrong. Then we'll start there. The truth can come later. The arrival. The royal estate was overwhelming, massive, beautiful, intimidating. This is where you live? I asked. This is where we both live now. You're my mate. This is your home too. Guards bowed as we passed. Servants rushed to assist. Everyone treating me with respect I didn't deserve. They think I'm your queen, I said. You are. By auction law, you're now my mate. That makes you queen by default. But I'm not. I can't. You can, and you will, when you're ready. He gestured to a woman approaching. This is Catherine, my personal assistant. She'll show you to your quarters. Your Majesty, Catherine said, bowing. Then to me, my lady, welcome. If you'll follow me? I followed, leaving the king behind. Relieved to have space. Time to think. Time to process. Catherine led me through corridors that seemed endless, finally stopping at a massive door. These are your private quarters. The king asked that you have space to adjust. He won't enter without invitation. He won't? He's a king, but he's not a monster. He understands you need time, space, trust. She opened the door. Everything you need is here. Call if you require anything. The quarters were enormous. Bedroom, bathroom, sitting room, all furnished beautifully. Why is he being so kind? I asked. Because he saw something in you worth choosing, and King Nikolai always values what he chooses. Catherine smiled. Rest. Tomorrow will be overwhelming enough. After she left, I stood in the center of the room trying to process. I'd been bought at auction by the Alpha King for a ridiculous amount, despite looking like I'd crawled out of a dumpster. Why? What game was he playing? What did he actually want? Chapter 6. The Revelation. 2. The Confrontation. I spent the first day hiding in my quarters, eating the food that was brought, avoiding everyone. On day 2, the king summoned me. Come to my study, now. We need to talk. His study was lined with books, maps, evidence of a ruler who took his duties seriously. Sit, he commanded. I sat, still hunched, still in my disguise. I've been patient, he said, given you time, space. But now I need answers. Who are you? Really? I told you, Sarah. A rogue. You're not rogue. I had my people investigate. There's only one she-wolf who fits your description and timeline. Only one who disappeared 5 years ago from a prestigious pack. Only one who'd be hiding this desperately. My blood went cold. You investigated me? Of course, you're my mate now. I need to know who you are. He pulled out a file. Seraphina Whitmore, daughter of Beta Marcus of the Clearwater Pack. Disappeared at age 18, 3 days before her presentation auction. Wanted for pack desertion. Considered a rogue and a flight risk. I couldn't breathe. He knew. He knew everything. So, Seraphina, want to explain why you were hiding? Why you made yourself ugly? Why you went to auction at all? How long have you known? Since the auction. I recognized your bone structure despite the disguise. Recognized your mannerisms. You're famous, Seraphina. The most beautiful she-wolf in 3 generations. There are paintings of you, descriptions. I knew exactly who you were. Then why bid? Why choose me if you knew I was hiding? Because I wanted to know why. He leaned forward. Why would the most beautiful she-wolf alive make herself ugly? Why run from your own presentation auction only to end up at a desperate mating auction 5 years later? What are you so afraid of? Being seen as just a pretty face. Being sold for my appearance. Being valued for everything except who I actually am. My voice broke. You don't know what it's like. Being so beautiful that no one sees you. That everyone wants to own you, control you, display you. I'm not a person to them. I'm a prize. So you hid, made yourself plain. Lived as a rogue to avoid being commodified. Yes. Then why come to auction at all? You were doing the exact thing you'd been avoiding. Because I was out of options, out of money, out of time. The auction was the survival, but I wasn't going to make it easy. If I was going to be chosen, it would be for more than my face. He was quiet for a long moment. Then, show me. What? Your real appearance, under the disguise. I want to see what everyone else sees, what you've been hiding. No. You're my mate. I need to see all of you, not just the disguise. If I show you, you'll see me differently. You'll see the face everyone wants, the beauty that destroyed my life, and I can't go back to being just that. What if I promise that won't happen? That I'll see you, all of you, not just your appearance? You can't promise that. No one can. Beauty changes everything. Then let me prove you wrong. Show me. Let me see your real face, and I'll show you that it changes nothing about how I see you. Chapter 7. The Unveiling the Bathroom. I locked myself in the bathroom, heart racing. He wanted to see the real me. The face I'd been hiding for 5 years. The beauty that had cursed my life. I can't do this, I whispered to my reflection. The mousy, plain, forgettable reflection. But I had to. He was my mate now. By law. By auction. By his own choice. And he'd promised to see me. Really see me. Not just my face. I started with my hair. Washed out the brown dye. Revealed the silver gold beneath. It took 3 washes, but eventually my natural color emerged. Then my posture. I stood straight, revealing my actual height. My actual grace. Then my clothes. I changed from the baggy rags to a simple dress Catherine had provided. Finally, I looked in the mirror. At my real face. At the violet eyes and perfect features that had defined and destroyed my life. The most beautiful she-wolf in 3 generations stared back. I wanted to cry, wanted to hide again, wanted to go back to being plain, forgettable Sarah. But I'd promised, and I kept my promises. I opened the bathroom door. The reaction. Nikolai was sitting at his desk, reviewing documents. He looked up when I entered, and froze. Complete, absolute stillness. His silver eyes widening, his breath catching. "This is me," I said quietly. "This is what I've been hiding. The face everyone wants. The beauty that destroyed my life. The curse I've been running from." He stood slowly, approached me carefully, like I might bolt if he moved too fast. "Serafina," he breathed. "I know, I'm beautiful. Everyone says so. Everyone wants me for it. And it's ruined everything. So now you know. Now you've seen. And everything changes. You're right." My heart broke. "See? I told you. Everything changes because now I understand. Why you hid. Why you ran. Why you made yourself ugly." His hand touched my face gently. "You're not just beautiful, Serafina. You're devastating. The kind of beautiful that makes people forget you're human. That makes them see you as an object, a prize, a thing to own. Yes, exactly that. And you've been fighting it your whole life. Fighting to be seen as more than a pretty face, more than a commodity, more than something to be bought and displayed. Yes, I'm sorry for what you've endured, for what your beauty cost you, for the fact that you had to hide to have any autonomy at all." His silver eyes held mine. "But here's what you need to understand. I didn't choose you for your beauty. I chose you because you were brave enough to walk into that auction looking plain. Because you valued truth over appearance. Because you'd rather be rejected as yourself than chosen for a lie." "You're saying my face doesn't matter?" "I'm saying it matters less than who you are. Yes, you're beautiful. Devastatingly so. But that's not why I chose you. That's not why I bid $1 million. That's not why you're here." "Then why?" "Because I saw past the disguise to who you really are. Someone brave, stubborn, desperate for autonomy, willing to do anything, including making yourself ugly, to avoid being objectified. That person, that's who I want. That's who I chose." Tears spilled down my cheeks. "You're the first person who's ever said that. Then everyone else is a fool. Your beauty is just packaging. What's inside, your courage, your integrity, your refusal to be commodified. That's what matters. That's what I value. What if I don't believe you? Then I'll spend however long it takes proving it. Every day, every moment. Until you finally understand that you're more than your face. That you always were. That I see all of you, beauty included. And I choose you anyway." The truth. That night, after the unveiling, Nikolai told me his own truth. "I'm not choosing you randomly," he said as we sat in his study. "I have my own reasons, my own history." "What history?" "My late mate, Ilara. She was beautiful. Not as beautiful as you, but beautiful enough. And I chose her for that beauty. For the alliance her family offered. For the political advantage. What happened? I never truly saw her. never looked past her appearance to who she was. We were bonded for 3 years, and I never really knew her. Then she died. Illness, and I realized I'd been living with a stranger. That I'd wasted 3 years on surface-level attraction instead of real connection. I'm sorry. Don't be. It taught me something essential. That beauty is meaningless if there's nothing beneath. That appearance fades. That real connection requires seeing the person, not the packaging. He looked at me intently. That's why I chose you. Because you walked into that auction deliberately plain. Because you valued being chosen for truth over being chosen for beauty. Because you showed me exactly who you are beneath appearance. And I wanted that. Wanted you. So I'm not just another beautiful face to you. You're the first person who's been brave enough to show me anything else. The first who demanded to be seen as more than appearance. The first who made me look deeper. His smile was gentle. You're not a pretty face, Serafina. You're a survivor, a fighter, someone who values truth. That's why I chose you. That's why you're here. I still don't completely believe you. Good. I'd be suspicious if you did. Trust takes time, but I have time, and I'll prove it. Every day, until you finally believe that you matter more than your face. Chapter 8. The Adjustment, Week 1. The struggle, adjusting to being queen, was overwhelming. You need to attend court, Catherine explained. As the king's mate, you represent the crown. I don't know how to represent anything. You'll learn. Start by being yourself. That's all anyone can ask. But being myself was complicated, because I didn't know who I was anymore. Was I Sarah, the plain rogue who'd survived 5 years alone? Or Serafina, the beautiful daughter of a beta who'd been running from destiny? You're both, Nikolai said when I asked. You're allowed to be complicated, to contain multitudes, to be beautiful and plain, survivor and royal. All of it. I don't know how to be all of it. Then start with one thing. Be honest. That's enough. Week 2, the presentation. My formal presentation to court was scheduled. You'll be introduced as Queen Serafina, the king's chosen mate, former daughter of Beta Marcus of Clearwater Pack. They'll all stare, judge, compare me to his previous mate. Let them. Their opinions are irrelevant. Nikolai took my hand. You're my choice. My queen. That's all that matters. The presentation was as terrible as I'd feared. Hundreds of nobles. All staring. All whispering. That's her? The one he chose at auction? She's beautiful. But is she queen material? I heard she was hiding as a rogue, that she deliberately made herself ugly. Why would anyone hide beauty like that? I kept my head high, my spine straight, my hand in Nikolai's. I present Queen Serafina, the herald announced, chosen mate of King Nikolai. Your queen. The court bowed. Not because they wanted to, because they had to. But some bowed with respect, with curiosity, with genuine welcome. Welcome, Your Majesty, an elderly she-wolf said, approaching afterward. I'm Duchess Helena. I wanted to say thank you. For what? For showing young she-wolves that beauty isn't destiny, that you can reject being commodified, that you can choose your own path. My granddaughter is beautiful, terrified of being auctioned. Your story, choosing to hide, to be plain, to be chosen for truth, it gives her hope. I'm not a role model. You are, whether you intended to be or not. Thank you. Week 3. The confrontation. My father showed up in week 3, Beta Marcus, the one who'd tried to auction me 5 years ago. Serafina, you've done well for yourself. What do you want? To congratulate you, to see my daughter who's become queen. I'm not your daughter. I haven't been for 5 years. You tried to sell me. I tried to secure your future, to give you the best possible life. You tried to auction me like cattle, to use my beauty for your political gain, to turn me into property. My voice was cold. I ran because of you, Because you saw me as an asset, not a person. You're being dramatic. She's being accurate, Nikolai said, appearing beside me. You attempted to commodify your own daughter, to sell her at auction without her consent. That's not parenting. That's trafficking. I had legal right. You had no right. Pack law requires consent for presentation auctions. She was a minor when you planned to sell her. That's illegal. Nikolai's silver eyes were cold. You're here for one reason. To see if your daughter's position can benefit you. The answer is no. Leave. Don't return. You're not welcome. She's my daughter. She's my queen. And under my protection. If you harass her again, I'll have you charged with attempted trafficking. Now leave. After my father left, I turned to Nikolai. Thank you. You don't need to thank me for protecting you. That's my job. My choice. My privilege. He pulled me close. You're safe here. He can't hurt you. No one can. Chapter 9. The bonding month, 2. The trust over the next month, something shifted between us. Nikolai kept his promise. He saw me, all of me, not just my face, asked about my thoughts, my opinions, my experiences. What was it like? He asked one evening. Living as a rogue for 5 years? Lonely, scary, freeing, all of it at once. I curled into the chair. I was constantly afraid of being found, but I was also free in a way I'd never been. No one telling me how to dress, how to act, what to be. Do you regret running? No, I needed those 5 years. Needed to find myself outside of beauty, outside of expectations, to learn who I was when no one was watching. And who are you? Still figuring that out, but I'm getting closer. Take your time. I'm not going anywhere. Month 3. The confession. I'm falling in love with you, I told him one night. We were in his private chambers, talking as we did every evening, building trust slowly. He looked up, surprised. What? I'm falling in love with you, and it terrifies me. Because every other time someone said they loved me, they meant they loved my face. But you, my voice broke, you see past it. You see me. And I don't know how to handle that. You handle it by trusting it, by believing that I mean what I say, that I see who you are, beauty included, and I love all of it. You love me? Completely. I've been waiting for you to realize it, to see that I'm not everyone else, that I'm choosing you, the real you, not just the pretty face. How do I trust that? The same way I trusted you to show me your real face, the same way you trusted me not to objectify you, slowly, carefully, one day at a time. I want to trust you. I want to believe this is real. Then let me prove it. Every day, every moment, until you finally believe that you're loved for who you are, not what you look like. He kissed me then, gentle, claiming, real.